We had some major movement down at the playoff bubble and the cut line. I think the headline leaving this weekend is Chase Elliott and how he officially cannot point his way into the playoffs.
Well, it's not official.
Unofficial?
All right, I'm off. I'm off the wagon. Yeah, he's not going to make it unless he wins, which he very well can win. We've mentioned it before, but Chase on points is out. It's done. It's not a talking point anymore. And he'll tell you, I mean, you could tell he's over it. He is so over it. His interviews, he's short and he doesn't want to talk about it. He's sick of talking about it. And he's like, I told you all from the very beginning I had to win, and nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I think deep down inside, he probably thought he could point his way in. I believed he could point his way in, but it was going to take, a Herculean effort of not wrecking, not having any bad weeks. His good weeks weren't good enough to allow him to have a week like this. You know what I mean? He wasn't top three, finish top 5. He was finishing the back half of the top 10 or, maybe sometimes top 5 in a stage and finish 12th. Like that just wasn't enough to allow him to have, the wreck that he had this week.
Yeah, well, the opportunity was there with the way the 34 team ran.
Oh, the door was wide open. Yep.
And some guys took that. Ty Gibbs being one of them. Daniel Suarez, too. Both those guys now. Ty Gibbs took over the 16th spot. Michael McDowell is now 3 points out, and Daniel Suarez is 5 points out.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a heck of a finish to the regular season here for that playoff spot. Again, if there's not a new winner. If it is, then it moves to Bubba, and he's 55 ahead of Gibbs. So I think that this was the weekend that Suarez needed, no question. The stage points really helped him this week, and he finished in the top 6 or 7, I believe it was. I think so. Certainly in the top 10. And then Gibbs had, again, stage points with the pits, with the yellows that we had. It jumbled up the field so much. It really gave the opportunity to the people that needed stage points to continue to just stay out and sell out for stage points on Sunday. I kind of wish we did as the 11 car that we just got stage points and then, left me in a position where, I wouldn't have restarted that much different, I don't think. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I think it's always hindsight's 2020, but you just never know when cautions are going to fall, and trying to plan on a caution and make, knowing you're short on gas is just very hard. But for Gibbs, McDowell, Bubba, Suarez, they don't care. If they'll just come pit early. Like they're conceding, okay, we're not good enough to win, so we just want to go out here and get all the stage points we can, and we'll make up where finish we can at the end. Now, in Bubba's instance, he finished 18th. He certainly should have finished better than 8th. He should be able to come through the field better than that, but it looked like, I read his debrief this morning. He was super loose, and obviously when he got in traffic, he couldn't go anywhere the last part of the race.
Well, hindsight's always 2020. Bubba did have a good points day,
he
right?
did.
But he was a car earlier in the race that showed glimpses of winning speed.
That's what befuddled me of when I saw the finishing position of the 23, I'm like, wait a minute, their car was way faster than that. I don't know, just lost the handle, I guess, but they faded.
But strategy-wise, they stayed out to get the stage points in stage 2.
Yeah. They had to. They're trying to build a buffer here.
Right.
How
I'm saying, though, is you finish 4th in stage 2, and then you finish 18th at the end of the race. Could you have set yourself up to finish 5th in the race and give up those stage 2 stage points because you had race?
Well, they were probably thinking that, because he had started that deep before and drove back up to the top 10 easily, that they should be able to do that again, and they should have been able to do that again. So they didn't either keep up with the track or something. But Richmond and Michigan, they faded. Just bled at the end of the race spots. So need to figure that one out for sure, because when you got a fast car, you typically got a fast car for the whole race. But plus 58, it's still, you're holding serve. Like you're doing what you got to do, and
you control your destiny.
Yeah, and we mentioned weeks and weeks ago that like it's whoever gets the most stage points is going to get in. That's the person that's going to get in. It's not going to be the finishing person. It's the stage person that's going to get in. And right now, that's where the 23 team is killing it over everyone else. They're driving to the front at the beginning of the race, getting stage points, while these other guys are, McDowell. If you were to listen to Dirty Modo, they mentioned McDowell's never finished better than 20th at Michigan. There's various reasons that happens, and this week he had damage, and finished 24th, I believe. But that team in general, I don't know if you can use a whole lot of past precedents with Michael McDowell and the 34 team, because this year they're outperforming all of their past performances. It's very similar to Ricky Stenhouse. Now, Ricky not this week, but for most weeks he's outperforming any of the historical data that you might be able to throw at him. So I still think, now that I'm hopping off the chase train. I'm officially off. I'm sorry. He might win a race and get in. 2 road courses and a super speedway. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be so close. And it's setting up to where the fastest guys on the road course are below the cut line. Super speedway, you would give the edge to McDowell. Super speedway. I'm not disrespecting McDowell at all on the road courses. I understand he has scored the most stage points of any other driver. Thank you. I know the data on that. However, things, it is a little different now that there are no stage breaks. So it's wherever you're running, you're going to get points for, where before you'd typically have most of the top 10 peel off. But I still think he's in a really good spot. I like McDowell's chances now significantly more than I did before. Gibbs, he's got the fastest car of all these guys. It's just a matter, he's just inexperienced, but he's driving like a vet. He's not getting in any trouble, right? We're not talking about Gibbs any week, right? He's just chipping away. And I think he's getting a little better each week. It's like, but what about surely the pressure. I know that kid. He feels a lot of pressure on himself. Like, does it get the best of you at some point? Do you start chasing, if you're at the Indy road course this week and McDowell's 10 spots ahead of you, do you panic? Or do you just take a breath and let this thing play out? So it's going to be close, but it's I don't know. It's so hard to give an edge. Who makes it for you? Let me hear what you had to say.
Bubba. At
Okay.
the 15th spot.
Okay.
If there's not another new winner. It's tough. I feel like I have to, I said I liked Michael McDowell last week just because these next 3 races are in his wheelhouse. 2 road courses and a super speedway. He's good at all 3.
You're not wrong.
But again, I did not see Daniel Suarez cutting the gap to where it is now, and Ty again has been,
and he's great on road
consistent.
courses too.
I think it comes down to if Ty can be consistent for the next 3 races, can McDowell just be better, right? If Ty's finishing right around that top 10, the next handful of races, maybe
it's whoever
chipping
gets
off
the most stage points. Gibbs, McDowell, Suarez, Allmendinger, whoever gets the first one that gets, let's see, we got 2 road courses. Over these next 2 weeks, the first one to get 20 total stage points is your guy that makes it.
Well, then you really need to pay attention to qualifying the next 3 weeks. Maybe not Daytona.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Watkins,
You
Glen,
do.
and
Yeah, I don't know the stats. Check out Dirty Modo for that on who's typically been the fast qualifiers. I'd say McDowell. Allmendinger. Allmendinger's usually pretty stout on Saturdays. It's going to be close. Tune in. Tune in. It's going to be a great battle.